Hi, Professor Project Brynfikowski here. Today we are looking at the Plyo box. The Plyo box we're going to be going over, first we're going to be going over the step ups and step overs, then we're going to do a video on box jumps, and we're going to do a video on box jump overs. Everything you should ever need to know about the box. So this is a sort of classic CrossFit box, which is right now it's at 24 inches, but then there's the 30 inch and the 20 inch. Usually 24 inches is the standard for men, and 20 inches is the standard for women. So I'll be doing most of my work here at 24 inch. Before you do any of this, with the box there is the potential for injury. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the old, I got one here right now, jumping into a box and scratching your shins. So if you want to wear longer socks or sweatpants, that might help guard against that, or shin pads. But then more important than that is rolling an ankle, popping an Achilles, something crazy like that. So there are some things you can do to guard against that. Obviously technique is a big one. We're going to go over that in a lot of ways, but then just warming up properly. So getting warm, I've been on the bike already. Getting warm, getting blood pumping through your legs. Don't just go cold and start doing rebounding box jumps or step overs. Doing a lot of ankle rolls, so stuff like this, stuff like that. Walking on your toes like this, walking on your heels, and then just general sort of stretching, warming up your calf like this, your ankle, and then rolling. That's why I've got these with me here. So rolling out, taking your shoes off, I've already done this, and roll a ball on the bottom of your feet to warm up your arches, and then do a little bit of smashing, get your IT band, your hamstrings, your groin, your quads, your VMOs, your calves, everything with these two until everything's nice and loose and limber. So you're going to reduce the risk of injury doing those things before you get started. So now that we've talked about that, let's get started with the step up and the step over. So first, if you're going to use the step up, what I want to talk about first is using it for training and for strength. So it can help you gain strength for your squats, for your lunges, all that sort of thing. And so if you're going to do that, I recommend lowering the box. You can do your step ups, you can do, let's say, 5 with this leg, and then turn around and do 5, or you can do them all facing the box. And the big thing you want to focus on, if you're doing this for quality, for skill, for strength training, is not pushing off that bottom foot. So it's easy for me to kind of just lift off there and do a lot more weight. What I want to see from a training standpoint is thinking about not pushing off your toe at all. I lift my toes off on that bottom foot, and I really drive through this entire foot, through the toe, through the heel. The knee has to come forward a bit, or else you can't do a step up like this. It just doesn't happen. So you go like this, keeping your core really tight, trying to push up off through this leg, and then only the heel can make contact on that bottom foot, which is my left foot. Up, slowly lower, and up. So, and then obviously when you finish, you want to finish straight. I didn't quite finish that rep. So lower height, the higher you can go, the better, but a lot of people are going to really struggle. I struggle a little more with my left leg, lowering eccentrically. So lowering down, they're going to lower down, and then they're just going to do this because they can't hold anymore. And that's a sign of lack of eccentric control in your hamstring, which is super important for sprinting and for a lot of things, obviously squatting as well. So if you're going to be doing step-ups for a training strength purpose, lower the height at first. You can do this with dumbbells at your side, you can do it unweighted, you can do it with kettlebells in the front rack, you can do it with barbell, you can do all sorts of things. But really focusing on, my biggest cue is keeping this leg straight and not pushing up into the toe. And then lowering down nice and slow. So that's going to get you strong, and then that's going to help you build the strength, build the unilateral ability in both sides of your body to tackle it in competition, which is what we're going to get to now. So, I made this, by the way. You can make these. There's lots of, you can buy them. It's more expensive, or you can just go up and buy some pieces of plywood and screw them together with a little bit of glue. So there's lots of demos online. Comment below if on the site if you need some more help with that. Competition. So in the Open this year, we had step-ups, and I believe they had it in the CrossFit Team Series 2 years before that, where you stayed on the same side of the box, and the rule was both feet have to touch the ground, step up, lock out, show full control at the top, both feet on the box, fully extended, not like this, but like this. Then come back down again and step up and alternate legs. You might have this at a competition as well in your gym, or you might just have it in your program and you want to crush your buddy next to you. So a few things I'm going to go over to tackle the step up. Let's get into it. All right, so the step up. Now I brought some dumbbells here because oftentimes you're going to see this done with dumbbells or kettlebells. Maybe you have to hold them here, or you can hold them down at your side. So unlike for training, for competition, I want to see you using that bottom foot, especially if it's high, when it's 24 inches and you're shorter than me, you're not going to be able to get this leg all the way up here and just push off this leg. So I want to see you pushing obviously into this foot, but also bending this leg a little bit and shooting up. I can get quite a bit of height just pushing off this leg, and then you have to finish, obviously from about here onwards, you're finishing with the other leg. So make sure you're pushing off both feet, off the one that's on the ground and the one that's on the box. Another thing that can help you is leaning forward a little bit. When you're doing this for training, really making sure you have a tight core. So those, when you're doing it for training and you're lowering down and you're coming back up, it's not going to work if you're arching like that. And it's the same when you're in competition. You want to keep that core tight so you can lean forward, and if you have dumbbells in one hand or both hands, you can actually swing them up a little bit. That sort of swing and a little bit of curl is going to add a little bit of momentum that's going to help you get onto the box. So if you do have implements that are hanging from your side, make sure you use them to help you swing up. If you have implements that are on your shoulders, let's say you have to do something like this or like this, leaning forward is really going to help. If you're leaning backwards, the weight's going to be pulling you off the box. But if you can lean a little bit forward, keep your core tight, keep those ribs tucked down like this, it's going to be a lot easier for you to jump up, so to speak, step forward, step up onto the box. If you are alternating, especially if you're doing this in the open, this is what I did. I had someone here, so I had my judge judging me, but then I had someone, there's no rule against this, with a little, I drew a little man with a flag, it's like the airplane guy. And, they can say right, left, because when I'm going fast, I'm losing track a little bit of which foot I have to do next, so have someone help you. Obviously, in a real competition, in a stadium or something, you're not going to have that luxury of bringing your buddy out there to count for you. But if you're doing it in the open, that's something I recommend if they come up again this year. And with step-ups, use the corner of the box, if you're allowed to, whether that's in competition or in the open. So right now, I'm stepping up here, and this foot I have to bring around, but if I use the corner of the box, my foot can just slide on that side. It's a lot easier, feels like there's a lot more space for your body and your feet as you step up. One more thing for the step-ups is you should take your fingers, so if you are holding on to dumbbells for an extended period of time, I will tape my fingers with regular tape. I'll get in close here. I'll tape right around here a couple times, 2-3 times right in there. I'll tape up here. I'll tape down here. I'll do a little bit better job on this, but I'm trying to get through it quick so I don't waste too much time. And then I'll also tape up here. And so what that does is when I hook grip, all that area has tape on it. And right in here where the dumbbell, the head of the dumbbell, that rubber goes, there's you're not going to get any blisters, and it's going to help you hook grip that dumbbell, or just grip it normally. And then when you're swinging it for multiple reps, it's really going to help. And the last thing when you're doing step-ups in a competition on the same side of the box is finding a rhythm. We're going to talk about this even more in the step-overs and then again on the box jumps, but you need to find a rhythm. It's like a dance. I've talked about this with the burpee box jump overs as well, and the burpee over the bar, where there's this like left, down, right, up, whatever. So with this, the way I mostly recommend for people to do is think of the top of the box being the rest. So you're going to get up here. If you're tired, you're going to, okay, here we go. You're going to go down, tap, back up. Down, tap, back up. Down, tap, back up. it's getting to the top, it's creating a nice little rhythm. Because if you do it the other way, you're going to spend more time on the floor. You're going to go like this. And what that does is the last foot that makes contact with the box, you come back down again, so you're not pausing at the top quite as long. And what that's probably going to do is, you're spending more time on the ground, less time up here, and that's going to result in more no reps. Because you don't have to be locked at the bottom, but if you go like this, and just try and tap and come down, you're more likely to do this. And then you'll be down here and you're locked out, but then you're going to be, and that doesn't count. So I'd rather see you go up, lock out, tap, lock out, switch feet. If you switch feet at the top, you're going to get less no reps. Talking too much. Okay. Competition step over. So we saw these at regionals in 2018. I've started to see them come up in some other competitions, so I think it's a good idea to talk about this. The biggest thing is finding your rhythm and finding a pattern that you can maintain, rest for a bit, and then maintain that pattern again. Ideally, don't rest at all, but if you have to, you need to find a way to rest. So, finding your rhythm, I'm going to do this first without any dumbbells, but again, you might have to do this with a dumbbell on your shoulder, 2 dumbbells, 2 kettlebells, whatever that is. Or in the case of regionals, you've got a dumbbell in each hand, and you're going up and over. And usually the standard is, it's a really, really simple standard, is both feet touch on this side, get over the box and touch on the other side. And if the objects are heavy enough, then there's no way you're going to jump, right? So it's like, if I really wanted to, I could do something like this, but it's so awkward that you would just do this instead. Right? That was a bit awkward too. But, so, step over. There's a bunch of different ways you can attack this. I'm going to talk to you about the 2 main ways you can attack this. So, I'm going to have some dumbbells in my hands here, kind of helps me demo it. So the first one is attacking it straight on, getting over the box, rotating, and then coming back the other way. Now, when we're talking about step overs, you can definitely roll your ankle. If you're rushing this a little too much, you're fumbling with your feet, you're coming down the other side, you're going to land as you're coming down. You might be doing this, and then you're going to try and twist up, and you're going to roll your ankle. So just be really careful how you're contacting the ground, and you're not, your foot isn't one way, and then you're starting to go the other way. You got to be really careful with that. So keep that in mind. Smooth is fast. You don't have to be fast to be fast at these. So at regionals, these are quite a bit heavier. I think these are 70 or 80 pounds a hand. And I hook grip them, and I use that tape I just talked about, that tape method. And so you can do this, where you get a little bit of that swing going. You step over, that swing, and step over, okay? The box was a little wider, right? Came up to here, so it was a little more like this, which makes that style make a little more sense. Notice how I'm staying low. You don't have to stand up when you do this. You can stay low over the box. Keep that core tight, you don't want to overarch. And a really big thing, I'm going to talk about it a little bit further down the line, but if you have weight on your shoulders, and especially if they're hanging, just like in the farmer's carry video, you want to make sure you have a nice strong posture. You don't need to be like this, like super arched. You want to be tall and strong with broad shoulders. Think about sticking your shoulders out as wide as you can. If you start to get like this, it's going to be hard to breathe, and your grip is going to blow up, and your grip is going to fatigue. You need to stay strong. So finding a rhythm with those step overs like that, with that staying low and using the swing, that's how you do it. You kind of take a little bit of a run at it, you swing it up, you head straight over, you regain your steps, you turn around, you take another run at it. That takes a little bit longer. I would say it's easier on the legs. It can be harder on the grip, because just doing this is going to create like more outward momentum, centrifugal force or whatever it is. And that dumbbell is going to keep kind of, each time you swing, it's going to create more weight as opposed to just holding it like this. It doesn't feel quite as heavy. So if you want to go a little faster and you don't want your grip to blow up, harder on your breathing and a little bit harder on your legs, you're going to do a tap and go style. You're still going to stay low, but you're sort of going to face, I'll face the camera for most of this, and you'll sort of stay low, but you're going to kind of alternate like this. And this will parallel what we're going to see in the box jump overs later. So I'm going to step, I'm going to step up with this leg. So I'm always sort of facing the camera. If I did this, it would keep me from facing you guys. So I'm going to go like this, stay low, tap, stay low, tap. I can still get a bit of a swing going. That one wasn't as good. You can create a little more space for that foot. Make sure I'm stepping over here so there's room. On one of those I went here and there was no room for that other foot. So here, staying low. It's pretty simple. It takes a little bit of practice. Obviously that's a lot faster. It's good to do that with lighter dumbbells. If they get heavier, you might need to use that swing, especially if the box is high relative to your body height. And keep those shoulders in a good position. And if you do need to rest, you have this perfectly nice place to rest your dumbbells. And I saw people at regionals, I've seen them in other comps, where they'll finish a rep and they'll put it down here, because that's what you're used to doing, right? You're dropping the barbell on the floor. You have this box, keep the dumbbells on the box, take a break, grip them, back up, and get into it again. And so on. That's pretty much it. If you're practicing this in the gym, obviously make sure that this box isn't going to move around too much. I don't think that both of these competition movements, I don't think there's something you need to do a lot of. It's something you can get a little bit of exposure to, you try them out, you make sure you can do them. You're a lot better off using them step-ups in training purposes for building unilateral strength, and I'd much rather see you do a lot of lunges, right? If you do a lot of lunges, or even like heavy sled pushes, you're getting that unilateral pushing strength, and you're gonna gain that fitness and that strength doing those two movements, with the step-ups for strength, pushing a sled, and then just regular, whether that's overhead lunges or front rack lunges or lunges with dumbbells at your side. I'd rather see you do that in like 99% of your training. Just do a few step-overs, step-ups in a competition style to make sure you got it in case they come up, like the footwork, but you don't need to be practicing these once a week. They are hard, so sometimes someone's like, oh, it's hard, it gets me sweaty, I want to do it. Do something smarter. There is an injury risk with this. You're going to roll your ankle. It can be hard on the knee, bringing it up like this, that high, and leaning into it. So there's just more things that can go wrong. Stick with the lunges, but hopefully this will help. If it does come up in a competition, maybe it comes up in the open. These are some things to think about. Give it a try. And now let's get to some box jumps.